Special weapons. How do you categorize a set of weapons in a video game that are unusual, different, and unlike most weapons you would use in real life situations? Special? Sounds about right. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Payday 2 ranking video where I rank certain aspects of Payday 2 from worst to best. Previous videos include worst to best heists, DLC, shotguns, assault rifles, music, XP, money, heisters, skills, perks, LMGs, contractors, pistols, melee, SMGs, and loot. If you like these kind of videos, please make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist in the description or at the end of this video to all the previous and future videos in this series. So with that out of the way, let's talk special weapons. A relatively small category, but yet again one of those that spans both primary and secondary weapon slots. A total of only 20. Holy shit. I said only 20. Oh, whatever. These are broke down into 2 flamethrowers, 2 saws, 2 miniguns, 7 bows, 5 grenade launchers, and 2 rocket launchers. Now with such a broad scope of different weapons, each to their own in this category, stats alone won't pull weapons through and mostly are just a lot of fun to use as they're different than regular weapons. Reality often creeps into the conversation around these weapons along the lines of imagine robbing a bank with an old wooden crossbow. But I think reality's out the window when we can say just get the fuck up and revive an almost dead teammate. This is the layer of odd weaponry that has quirks, self-sustaining ammo, or terrible ammo pickups, good or bad concealment, team killing potential, or just insane damage output, but it's all nicely captured by the word special, and I couldn't agree more. Well, it's only right we get into this list of craziness, starting off with the
OVE 9000 saw.
Yes, you can argue that saws are great for getting all loot quicker in some stealth heists, or used to keep civs down if you're not going to kill everyone, and also that it can make some loud heists a little faster like Day 2 on Hotline Miami. But come on, a secondary saw is the most useless as it requires a 3 skill point investment to just unlock it. In fact, let's continue the details a little further as number 19 is also
the OVE 9000 saw.
Replacing your primary doesn't make this weapon any better, but some facts around these saws is that they do deal headshot damage, they do allow for critical hits, and they do penetrate enemy armor. Just the base damage for these is so ultra low that you'll have a hard time taking out just one medic with an entire set of blades on death sentence. So if you fancy a challenge of how big are my balls, grab a saw or 2, some ammo skills and an ammo bag and go to town. Could be fun, but definitely doesn't make them any higher on my list.
The English longbow.
The first bow on the list, so let's talk bows. Bows in general are high damage, self-sustaining ammo weapons that require some getting used to based on their shot arcs. Don't shoot these or any other bows out of the map and you'll have unlimited ammo, but it can be tricky to be accurate to begin with. Bows in general have high damage and high concealment, this English variant with a whopping 2000 damage. Throw in critical hits and accurate headshots and you can take down dozers in no time. Note that with this size of damage, everything other than dozers are already a one-shot headshot kill. Critical hit skills just reduce the possibility of more shots needed to kill dozers. Anyways, this is the lowest bow on my list as I feel it's the most difficult to aim with and the pullback time on each shot is actually ridiculous.
The Decca Technologies compound bow.
This has to be the longest name of any weapon in the game, only a small change from the previous and that's with a 0.2 improvement on reload and 5 less total ammo. This one definitely looks cooler than the English longbow and has a slightly faster pullback than the previous. Also has slightly less arrow drop when you shoot from full pullback, allowing for greater accuracy.
The Planesrider bow.
Compared to the Decca and the English bows, this one has a much faster feeling pullback, allowing for faster firing. Couple that with a much quicker arrow reload of only 0.3 seconds. Yes, this has half the damage of the previous 2, but that reduction only impacts shots to kill on bulldozers. Headshots with this bow will still take out any other special on death sentence difficulty in one hit. This one also carries a total of 50 ammo, the highest of all bows.
The HRL-7 rocket launcher.
Bring on the beast, the highest damage weapon in the game right here. With a massive 12,500 damage, this rocket launcher is a damage monster. 0 ammo pickup and only filled up from ammo bags. This definitely has novelty value and just the thought of using one of these is just fun. It can take down all dozers except for the minigun dozer in just 2 shots on death sentence. Also great for clearing out an area that's just totally swarmed. If you want to get technical, there is data on a damage radius. Full damage at 0 meters, negatively scaling to a 5 meter distance where no damage is dealt further than that. Not really much else to say about this big sucker.
The Pilot.
The slow loading but high damage grenade launcher will take your primary slot. It has a slightly smaller damage radius as the rocket propelled grenade launcher at just 3.5 meters. Sadly, the grenades from this launcher will not bounce off walls, which would be an amazing feature. The agonizing reload can be mitigated via getting tased, or even now self-tasing using the new Zap Grenade ammo mod, but that's a personal choice. This launcher would also be improved if it had a slightly quicker fire rate, so you could spam areas for clearing out, but it just feels a little too sluggish. Ammo pickup tested pretty bad also, so I guess a less spammable fire rate actually works in our favour.
The M17 Flamethrower.
Let's be honest, flamethrowers are just cool, and this one looks suspiciously like the one that Elon Musk sold from his Boring Company in 2018 for just $500. This is the secondary and free flamethrower in Payday 2, sharing many stats with its big and paid DLC brother. You can have some fun with this one for sure, modding to a low blow detection risk and activating critical hits. This one will fire up to 10 meters in front of you, passing the fire through multiple targets. Ammo can be modded higher, and the pickup is not that bad based on how this weapon should be utilized. The reload of this weapon is not just the longest within special weapons, but the entire game at over 10 seconds. If you're interested in what you could do in those 10 seconds, well, I have you covered. I've linked a video in the description on how to de-seed a pomegranate within 10 seconds, so you'll never get bored. Please go check that out.
The Flamethrower Mark 1.
Here is the bigger and slightly better version of the Flamethrower. This one carries the same stats in regards to damage, stability and accuracy, but has a larger mag and a larger total ammo, a 15% faster reload and a 50% better ammo pickup. While still on the topic of flamethrowers, let's discuss how some of their mechanics work, as some may often be put off by the minimal 7 damage this weapon shows. First off, the flamethrower's damage is actually much better when the damage over time mechanic is applied. By setting your opponents on fire, damage ticks of 300 on flamethrowers are applied instead of just the initial 7 shown on the weapon stats. However, the flamethrower is not 100% of the time going to set your enemies on fire and receive this damage over time. For flamethrowers, the percentage of this happening is actually 75%, so still a great chance. After the initial hit, a 1-second grace period is in effect, and then the further damage is applied afterwards. For flamethrowers, 2 ticks of 300 damage are applied half a second apart, meaning that 1 tap of a flamethrower can inflict 607 damage. For context, this is from a magazine of 900 on the Mark 1 flamethrower. You need to stop shooting to allow the 1-second grace period to activate and start the damage over time. Continuing to shoot will only keep applying the small damage at a high rate based on the fire rate. It is way more efficient and deadly to use short bursts on enemies, setting them on fire for a short time and then go back and do it again. Throw on critical hits and watch these damage over time numbers kill off enemies in no time. Also note that if an enemy does catch fire, they enter a burning animation which lasts for just over 4 seconds, allowing time to run objectives or get the hell away, making this a favourite for high crime sprees. Cloakers and dozers can catch fire and burn over time, but do not get stunned via that same animation, so be very careful.
The Commando 101 Rocket Launcher.
Sadly, only part of the Scarface DLC and no longer available. This is an upgrade to the HRL7 rocket launcher lower on the list. Here we have a launcher half its damage but carries 4 in the launcher and only a 1 second longer on the reload. Team kills are mandatory with this one, so be careful and you'll have a hell of a lot of fun. Throw on the Bullet Storm skill or even Swan Song and have a great time blowing everyone and everything up.
The XL 5.56 micro gun.
Here we have the free minigun as opposed to the paid one, of course. This has the highest ammo pickup of not just special weapons, but of any weapon in Payday 2. I tested it at 22.5 ammo per box picked up. It has a mental fire rate and can be modded to have a decent stability feel. Yes, the reload is slow, but 750 ammo in the tank should take a while to unload. The damage isn't amazing, but the damage per second output can be extremely high, especially if critical hits are spec'd. However, critical hits are not the easiest thing to come by here, and you'll probably be left with a high concealment and useless secondary pistol. But having a minigun may outweigh that, as they are a blast to use. Oh yes, and Bullet Storm and Swan Song kick ass here too.
The heavy crossbow.
The old faithful crossbow. Smells like 2017 and the crossbow dodge builds. Probably higher on this list to me due to their nostalgic value, but there's something fun about crossbows in Payday 2. Back in the day, rogue dodge builds with Inspire, Feign Death, Messiah and a whole other bunch of crap were the go-to for 1 down builds, and that was back when 1 down was actually a difficulty. The damage on crossbows changed slightly for the worst over time to what they are today, but the 2000 damage punch from this heavy crossbow is still again enough to one-shot, headshot anything other than dozers on death sentence. The crossbows are highly concealable like other bows and get some crazy damage numbers with critical hits. The annoying twisty reload of the heavy crossbow just puts this below the light version for me.
The light crossbow.
Here it is, my old faithful, now down to 750 damage. This is still a one-shot headshot on all enemies except dozers, and the faster reload is a lot more welcomed. Yes, the shot arcs of the crossbows take some getting used to, but it's extremely satisfying when you land it. The crossbows can also utilize explosive or poison bolts, the explosive version not being able to be reused and only to be replenished through ammo bags. Love or hate these, they will always have a special place in my game.
The Vulcan minigun.
The big guy, part of the DLC that bought us the rocket launcher, and the DLC name of the Overkill pack sure did live up to its name. Similar in many ways to the free smaller version, this minigun increases the fire rate by a further 1000 and is a little more concealable, allowing for a little more utility with its secondary. The minigun looks so cool and kinda comical when they have their short barrels on for concealment. Loads of fun, and at the end of the day, this game's supposed to be fun, so go wild and smile.
The airbow.
This is an extremely fun weapon to use and has some serious stopping power. 700 damage just puts it slightly under the light crossbow, but it's still high enough for the one-shot headshot kill on everything other than bulldozers. 6 in the mag and a decent fire rate of 120 gets those bolts out fast. The sight on this makes aiming a little easier than the other bows, and it still carries the shooting arc and ammo retrieval as the others. You may not like the DLC that this comes with, but it's definitely a weapon that's worth fooling around with if you have the chance.
The China Puff.
Now we're in the top 5 and everyone has their preference around here. The China Puff, a throwback to the China Lake from the original Payday game, used to be a good sidekick to the crossbow builds of old. Solid damage of 960, slightly faster reload, and a small ammo pickup, obviously used at minimum to clear pathways, rooms, or just big groups. It shares the splash radius of the Piglet and some other grenade launchers of 3.5 meters, so is very capable of taking out large groups in just a couple of shots.
The GL40.
Another original Payday game classic. A monster damage in 1300, you can mod this thing down to a very small nub of a weapon, allowing some great concealment and secondary options. The frequent reloads due to its just one in the chamber setup isn't the best, but the destruction this can do to large crowds is awesome. Ammo pickup is rough, so complement with a good efficient secondary, pulling this out when needed for its mass destruction.
The Arbiter.
Many players' favourite launcher due to its accuracy and high fire rate, but its nerf damage dropped this down the list for me. It's great for long range attacks, but you'll struggle to kill even an enemy shield with 480 damage in just one hit. Yes, the damage stat matches the enemy health stat, but you have to land the shot perfectly to kill. Its redeeming features are the mag size, decent concealment for a launcher, good fire rate, and as you'd expect has a mediocre ammo pickup. The final thing to say about this one is the tedious way of unlocking it. Yes, you only have to find the things once, but it's annoying, especially if you've done a reset and have to go back and do it again, which is what I had to do in order to make this video. That's why I'm a little salty.
The Compact 40.
A free launcher that mirrors a lot of the GL40 stats and in some cases just does them slightly better. Same great damage, slightly faster reload, and a better ammo pickup. Not nearly as concealable, but this will take your secondary slot, not your primary. Again, amazing at clearing out groups of enemies, prepare to fill up that kill feed.
The Pistol Crossbow.
Here we are with another classic and the number 1 on my list. The pistol crossbow from the Gauge Ninja pack, 350 base damage and highly concealable with retrievable ammo. This weapon is a hell of a lot of fun, especially if you're accurate. The super fast reload is awesome, helped by the decent fire rate for a crossbow, one-shot headshot kills on heavy swats on death sentence every time, and with critical hits this damage scales wildly. Throw on poison or explosive bolts to play differently and equip a decent primary and be fully stacked. This definitely adds a fun factor to your game, and whipping out your small crossbow to inflict heavy damage feels satisfying every single time, especially once you get used to the same shooting arcs on the crossbows and land that perfect shot. So there it is, special weapons ranked from worst to best. Only one more to go within the weapon categories, and that is snipers, so look out for that very, very soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.